Let off some steam, Bennett. Okay, if you're as cheesy as I am and you loved watching 80s action adventure movies, go ahead and comment in the comment section there down there below. I'm trying to engage the audience, right? I'm trying to get you people involved. Go ahead and comment in the comment section down below if you know what movie that quote came from. You will earn some respect and also 5 brownie points. Maybe not. Okay, anyways, I am going to make wild rice in a Instant Pot pressure cooker. You know, I've done this a lot. I've only had 2 random kitchen explosions this entire year, yet the fire department says I'm their job security. Just kidding, none of that is true. But anyways, I want to show you how to do it the right way, the correct way, right? Bringing some comedy into these videos. Anyways, I'm trying to do this and show you all how I do it. What I've done is I've already got my ingredients in there. I'm going to go ahead and start the cooking time. So if you were curious about that, you'll get to see that first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the recipe. By the way, now is a good time to go ahead and hit the subscribe button down there below. And the reason why you want to be subscribed to this channel is because I try to put a little bit of content out there for almost everyone. That way I can entertain and engage, share some knowledge with you, maybe help you make some more better informed decisions. So that's the reason why you want to subscribe. Also, there's a link to this down in the description there down below. There's also a link to some other cool products that I use down in the description. So definitely check that out. Okay, so let's get into it. Cooking time for the wild rice is going to be 15 minutes of regular pressure cooking and then 5 minutes of natural release. And then I'll go ahead and pop the quick release and then go ahead, fluff with a fork and eat it. Okay, so let's get into that. So hit pressure cook, right? I want to set this to 15 minutes. So if it wasn't at 15 minutes, you can always use your plus or minus keys to adjust the time. So I'm going to go for 15 minutes right there, and on high is just fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit the start button, right? Nuclear detonation in 5 seconds, maybe not. Okay, and then anyways, I want to take off the keep warm button. And the reason why I took that off was because I find that typically during that natural release and also during the quick release, after the quick release process, if you leave the keep warm on, what happens is the bottom of the rice will get mushy because it will continue to cook, obviously, keeping warm. So I just take it off. That way I ensure that the rice is consistent from the bottom to the top. And anyways, you get the idea. So that's basically the cooking time. So 15 minutes on high. This is going to pressurize. Once it does, I'll see a countdown timer, 15, 14, 13. You get the idea. Then it's going to naturally release, right? You'll see the L. The L will come up here. I want to naturally release for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit the quick release, which is up here, right? This button right here, hit the quick release. Usually I do that with a towel of some kind because I don't want to burn my hands, so definitely use a towel. And then after I do the quick release, maybe another 10, 15 seconds, then I'll go ahead and open the lid, fluff with the fork, and it's good to go. One other trick I will teach you is that find a place on your kitchen countertop that's away from your cabinets. And I'll tell you why, because steam is coming out of here, right? And that hot steam could potentially damage your cabinets. So something to keep track of. So if you notice, like if I get a good side angle shot here, there's about a foot, maybe a little over 1.5 feet between the steaming vent, right? And the actual kitchen cabinets right here. So definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, now on to the recipe and hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Okay, where most people tend to make a mistake when they're making wild rice is they'll put too much water in. There's a simple formula I'm going to teach you in this video, and then after that, you should never have any problems, whether it's wild rice or regular rice or whatever the case may be. But in today's video, we're going to talk about wild rice. So usually when you make wild rice on a conventional stovetop, you will put in more water because there it goes. See, my countdown timer just started. So it's going to go from 15 down to 0. So that's good news. Okay, anyways, what'll typically happen on a conventional stovetop is they'll put in more water because it takes longer to cook. On a conventional stovetop, it could take 45 minutes to an hour to cook the wild rice, right? So you have a lot more water that's evaporating. But in the pressure cooker, more of that water stays in there. That's the whole reason for the pressure cooking, is because the steam and the water stay in there, and that's what helps to cook the food faster. So basically, you don't need as much water, especially if you're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cups of rice at a time. So that the basic formula is this is for the very first cup of wild rice. You want to put in 1 1/4 cup of water per 1 cup of wild rice, right? This is my beautiful, gorgeous wild rice that's in there. I buy this brand. It comes in bulk, right? Because I'm always trying to find the highest quality products for the lowest possible prices. Buying in bulk will help. If you don't have access to this or you can't find it, you know, Sprouts, Whole Foods, any kind of holistic type of a store would have it. Mrs. Gooch's, you know, going back to that whole 80s thing, remember Mrs. Gooch's? Comment down below if you remember Mrs. Gooch's. Always love that place. But anyways, you get the idea. Whatever kind of wild rice you decide to buy, you know, whatever suits your budget or your habit or your lifestyle, go ahead and do it. But anyways, the point is 1 cup of wild rice. That first cup, you want to put 1 1/4 cups of water. Then every subsequent cup of wild rice after, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 cup of wild rice, 1 cup of water. So if you were going to make 5 cups of wild rice at a time in the Instant Pot, how many cups of water do you need to put in? So 5 cups of wild rice equals, that's right, 5 1/4 cups of water. Right, so it's only a 1/4 cup extra water for that first cup of wild rice, because you don't need the extra water. Like, you wouldn't double the recipe, otherwise you'd have too much water in here because the water is not evaporating. Does that make sense? Yes? No? Let me say it again just so everybody understands. The first cup, if you're only going to make 1 cup of wild rice, it's 1 cup of wild rice, 1 1/4 cups of water. Then every additional cup of rice that you're going to add to the mix, you only want to do a 1-to-1 ratio of 1 cup of wild rice, 1 cup of water. Does that make sense? 6 cups of wild rice would be 6 1/4 cups of water. 8 cups of wild rice would be 8 1/4 cups of water. Get it? Got it? Okay, good. Something that does increase per cup of rice, if you want to add salt or oil or butter to your mix, would be the salt. So for every cup of this is bonus material, by the way. See why you love subscribing to this channel? Because you're getting all this good bonus material. Basically, what's going to happen is for every cup of wild rice, I put in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So there's your 1/4 teaspoon right there. Let me see if I can grab focus. I know it's a little bit hard. There we go. So 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I use the pink Himalayan salt for the extra minerals and all that. But if you want to use whatever salt you want to use, iodized or whatever floats your budget, you know, suits your needs, all that kind of stuff, whatever. So 1/4 teaspoon of salt per cup of wild rice. That ensures good flavor. And then to carry that flavor through your taste buds and your palate and all that, usually what I will do is I will put a 1/2 teaspoon, right? 1/2 teaspoon of olive oil per cup of wild rice. So whether you use the olive oil and you're going to pour it in, use the measuring spoon, or you're going to get one of these handy dandy Evo olive oil sprayers, makes no difference. You could use olive oil, you could use avocado oil, whatever oil you like using. If it's coconut oil, you name it. By the way, coconut oil does not work in these sprayers. If the temperature gets below, I think it's below like 68 degrees, it'll solidify in here. You'll never be able to spray it out. Just, you know, bonus material on top of bonus material. That's why you love subscribing to this channel. And there is a link to this down below in the description there down below. Okay, so if you want to use this thing, I believe this thing squirts out a full 1/2 teaspoon every time you squirt it. So if you're going to make 3 cups of wild rice, what's the recipe? It would be 3 cups of wild rice, 3 1/4 cups of water, right? 3/4 teaspoon of salt, right? Because it's a 1/4 teaspoon per cup of wild rice. And then you're going to use 1 1/2 teaspoons of olive oil, right? Or oil, avocado oil, olive oil, whatever you want to use, because a 1/2 teaspoon, right, per cup. Does that all make sense? You could use butter, same thing. If you decide to use butter, what I would use is maybe like the same ratios. So something like a 1/2 teaspoon of butter per cup of wild rice. And there you go. There's the recipe and everything else. Anyways, my countdown timer is counting down. I've got 10 minutes to go before I'm going to naturally let this vent. For how long? 5 minutes, right? Then I'm going to go ahead and do a quick release and then let it wait another 10 seconds or so, open the lid, fluff with the fork, and I'm good to go. Remember that tip about keeping space between your vent and your kitchen cabinet so you don't damage your kitchen cabinets, right? I coined a phrase a long time ago: before you set something down or sit down, look up. Make sure there's nothing above that you're going to damage, right? And there you go. Anyways, now is another good time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there below. Also hit the notification bell if you want to keep abreast of when these videos come out. In the description section down below, there are some links to some pretty cool products. I'll put a link to the Instant Pot. I'll also put a link to the Evo oil sprayer. You can use olive oil in here, avocado oil in here, no problem. Almost any other kind of oil. The only thing that you cannot use in here is coconut oil, because like I said, coconut oil will solidify and it won't be able to come out through the spraying mechanism. Anything below, I believe it's like 68 degrees Fahrenheit or so. So keep track of that. But for olive oil, it's great. And it sprays this way. It'll spray this way. You can set that. You can also close off the valve, whatever you want to do. Anyways, links to those products are down in the description. They're down below. And lastly, down in the description, there's a link to my Facebook page, Cooter Malloy Product Reviews. Make sure to visit that Facebook page, like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Anyways, I'm Cooter Malloy. 9 minutes left to go, and then that 5 minutes of natural release. And I will catch you all on the next exciting video.